Hey guys, it's Curt from Ajamsonic. We're going to do something different here in 2, 3, maybe 4 videos. So we're going to feature a KETRON SD40 and connecting it up to our Wersi Sonic running OAX and some of the things you can do when you combine those two instruments. Most importantly, we want to thank AJ from KETRON USA for the eval unit that you're going to see featured in this video and the next 2 or 3 that we do. Thanks again, AJ, for the use of the SD40.
Okay, so let's just start by taking a quick look at the back of the KETRON. It has a nice complement of inputs and outputs. And again, we're going to care most about the MIDI ports, and we're going to be using in2 for everything we're doing. And the audio left, audio right outputs, which we will connect up to our Sonic so that we hear the sounds from the KETRON. And I'll show you some shots of the input mixer on the organ and how we can adjust all of that and how it all goes together. Real quick, you see some other things there. You can do MIDI over USB. Or you can also connect this up with a computer using the USB connection. I haven't tried that yet. Time permitting, we will do that and show you some of that, again, time permitting. And also notice you've got some places to connect up some microphones and or guitar or other instruments and use that in combination. Again, not the way we're going to be using it, but just be aware that those are some of the other features you can use. And here's a shot that many of you will recognize, of course, the back side of the Wersi. And let's tip open the back cover. And now you can see all the goodies. Well, actually you can't, so let me move this over a little bit. And here's all the goodies that we really care about over here, right? So we've got our MIDI and our audio inputs. So let me connect up a couple cables and we'll come back in just 1 second. All right, so let's take a little bit closer look. Now remember, we are going to use MIDI to control the KETRON from our Sonic. So there's MIDI over USB, which we're not going to use for this particular setup. And then notice we've got MIDI 1 and MIDI 2. A little bit later, probably in a different video, we'll show you how we're going to map sounds, user sounds on the Wersi side and assign them to MIDI 1 output. And that is through this connection right here. Notice, that's going to go to the back of the KETRON. We'll show you that in a second. And that will be how we're controlling the KETRON from the Wersi. And if you remember earlier, we said we were going to run the audio outputs from the KETRON into the Wersi. So notice here, let me move that up a little bit. Input left and right. In our case, we're using a blue and a red, hot pink kind of a cable. So we're using the red one to go to right, just because my simple brain, red, R, right, R, makes it easy to know which cable goes where. And then left is blue. Now let's switch over to the back of the KETRON and make the equivalent connections over there. Turn it on and see if we hear anything. Okay, we've got the connections made on the KETRON side. Power, far left cable. And then let me zoom in a little bit and notice you see MIDI in2, says keyb, guessing that's short for keyboard. So remember, that's MIDI out on our Wersi side to MIDI in on the KETRON. And then the outputs, audio outputs, that's the red and blue cables, go to the audio inputs on the organ side. And with that, I'll turn it on and we should be able to hit an automatic style and hear something play. Stand by 1 second. One of these days, we're going to invest in a overhead camera tripod to make these kind of shots a little easier to do. But for now, we'll struggle along and do it this way. We'll come back and try and do a little bit closer shot and explain some of the basic layout of the KETRON for you. I guess what I really wanted you to see here is, and if I did it right, it should play something for us here in a second. So it goes similar to your Sonic. It goes through a boot up process, loads some sounds, gets itself initialized, all of that kind of stuff. And after it finishes booting up, you get this initial screen, and you'll see three things there. And we're going to show you a little bit about the first two. The third one, again, I don't think applies in our case. There might be a need for it, but I have found so far that the first one, and probably for most of you, the second one, the middle one, accordion style, might be what you're most interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit accordion style for now and exit. And up comes this initial screen. All right, so let's go ahead and just, I picked beat 1, that's kind of the default. I have selected intro 2, and I've turned on something called K-Start, which we'll talk about that at some point. I'm going to reach over to the organ and I'm going to hit a C chord, and we should hear an introduction play and a little bit of a rhythm pattern. Well, that tells us that we've got our MIDI connections right, because we were able to play the keyboard and it triggered it. It also tells us that our audio connections are working. So let me go over here and hit ending 3.
Okay, great. We've been able to connect up MIDI and audio between the KETRON and our Sonic. We've tested it. Everything there is working as expected. What we'll do in the next couple videos is give you a very brief overview of the SD40 itself. And then in another video or two, we'll show setting up on the Sonic side, creating some user sounds that will allow us to pick sounds from the KETRON and control that from the touchscreen on our Wersi Sonic. As always, thanks for watching.